All right, in this video, we are going to be talking about the current state of copywriting. Now, I know this is listed as module 1. It probably won't be module 1, but we're going to go ahead and get started here. So this is a very visual picture that I think is probably going to resonate with some of you, but also is just kind of showcasing how people who are winning and how people who are actually out marketing everybody in the actual industry right now. Basically this is what this represents. Like, if you want to see where the 99% of e-commerce brands are and where the top 1% are, this is in maybe even top 0.1%, to be honest with you. This is where they are in the blue. Okay, and the only difference is that the people in the blue are people who use AI to write copy, who also understand copywriting, right? And that is one of the biggest drivers for why I am doing this and why I personally am doubling down so much on this skill that is so old. Everybody thinks is like, oh, copywriting is dead. Like, you don't need it anymore. AI can just do it all. And I just feel like that couldn't be more wrong. Right now, I think most companies, they don't understand really what is going on in the space, and like just the actual volume of how much information and how many words these customers consume on a daily basis, whether that's online through social media where your ads are running, or that's on Netflix, or it's reading, for some of them still reading magazines and newspapers, or for other people literally just watching, on the younger generation, watching streamers all day long. Okay. And the thing is that most of you guys have very little to say. And not only do you have very little to say, you're actually very bad at saying it. And I love this quote. I stole this from Harry, and you guys will see the credits after every single slide here. So if some of this is familiar to you, it's because I've learned it from very smart people. But nothing said well is still nothing. Okay. And so what I want to jump into today, just to help you kind of understand like the biggest problems in copywriting and why this is seriously a problem that you need to solve for. And just going to kind of walk through them to help you understand probably the mistakes that you're making, but more importantly, why, again, we are going so deep into this. So number one, most people are content writing, not copywriting. And what I mean by that is most marketers are not actually copywriters anymore. They are content writers. Okay. You guys know that you have ads that you need to make. And so you write copy that fills those ads. That is what majority of you do. Okay. You've got to make a certain amount of creatives every single week, every single month. And so you've got to fill those ads with something because those are your deliverables. Right. And the problem here is if you do that and you follow that process, which is again something that we still teach, but we are trying to build the infrastructure around us to go deeper. Essentially, if you do go deeper, you transition from a content writer to an actual copywriter. Okay. And so a content writer is someone who just writes words that are educational or entertaining and give information on a topic, right? A lot of you guys are just out there providing information to users. Like, that's what you guys do. Whereas a copywriter is someone who writes something that reinforces a position or establishes one in the user's mind and can influence her and can influence a behavior, aka get the user to actually take action. And so this is the biggest difference between copywriters and people who just think they're copywriting, but they're not. Like, if you are actually copywriting, you are influencing behavior. Okay. And you are likely reinforcing a position or establishing a position in a person's mind. And so that is the difference between people who just write words versus people who actually write words that mean something and do something. Okay. And again, the goal of copywriting is get somebody to do the action that you want them to do, right? You want to influence them, right? When you're writing content, you're not really trying to influence people. You're just providing content to people, right? Like a movie, maybe it has like this, like a great movie, Interstellar. For anybody who's seen it, hopefully you have. If you haven't, you need to go watch that. But my point is like, that doesn't really influence me to go do anything. It doesn't, reinforce this specific position in me or get me to go and take a specific action. Now, it might make me think a lot about like, holy cow, space is crazy and time continuums and all that kind of stuff. But it's not really going to make me go take an action. Now, some movies are so inspirational that they make people go and take action. But my point is like, it's content, right? It's phenomenal content, but it's content. Copywriting is getting somebody to, again, take an action. Now, the second biggest problem in the current state of copywriting is that nobody is learning it. Okay. And this is, if you ask me, one of the more concerning problems, but also something that excites me because there are so many people that just don't think they need to learn copywriting. And like, that is just the biggest advantage. And if you are actually sitting here, like watching this and committing to this, you are going to have an advantage. There's no other way to put it. Right. So with copywriting right now, majority of people think they don't need to learn it because AI can do it. And they're not wrong. AI can do copywriting. Right. And as I mentioned here, although people who know nothing about copywriting will get better, all this means is that the floor is raised on average copy. It's why people are able to start making money pretty quickly because you have a copywriter in AI that is good at copywriting, right? And the truth is, though, is that if AI is good at copywriting and then everybody is using AI to write their ads and everybody is using AI to, basically do everything in their business, well, that just starts to become the average, right? You have to understand how these things work, right? Like Facebook ads in 2016, when there was not a lot of people doing it, you didn't really have to be great at copywriting. You had to be great at making ads. You just said like, here's my product. And you were like advertising in this place where nobody was advertising. And there was all of these customers and there was so much demand and so little supply that it's like, you could be an idiot and you could succeed on Facebook ads in 2016, 2017, right? Now you can be a complete idiot, but you get my point. You were an idiot if you're advertising 2016, 2017, I can tell you that. But what happens is over time, because it's so easy to use and because there's not a lot of barrier to entry there, it's like, oh, you just sign up and start running ads. Now, the biggest barrier to entry was media buying, but sticking to the point here, as more and more people kind of use the tool, it just starts to become average. So now if you just take a random photo of your product and throw it onto Meta, depending on the category, it's probably not going to do much, right? And so average copywriting here, the reason why I give you that example is because I know for a lot of you, like that makes sense. A lot of you have, if you've been in the game for longer, have seen Facebook ads get harder, but it's just because like the floor has raised. Okay. And so average copywriting, or even right now, like good copywriting will just become average. And so if you actually want to be above everybody else, you have to understand the skill at a higher level because AI will never be like fully trained. And there's all these people that have like these Claude wrappers and all that kind of stuff, but it's just, it's not at that level yet. Now, will it potentially get there? Sure. But again, it's always going to require an operator to actually like get it to execute the way that you want it to execute at a high level because you will know what good looks like, right? So again, average copywriting, or even right now, like good copywriting with AI just becomes ineffective because everybody is using it, okay? And so if you ask me, it has never been more important to learn copywriting, and it has never been more important to just learn skills in general. So that way you can optimize the AI based off of the skill set that you have. Right. And that is the most important thing, because even if somebody comes out with, if Eugene Schwartz comes out with his AI copywriting, obviously he can't. But my point is that if everybody just uses it, then that's what everybody will use. And so it's like there's always going to be a level where like you have some kind of proprietary knowledge. And that proprietary knowledge, if you ask me, is the skill set that you develop by learning this stuff. Okay. Now, the third biggest problem, and this is the one that I see like kind of causing, like even right now is still the biggest issue and will continue to become a big issue, is like nobody is different. Okay. And I kind of call this Me Too copywriting, and I stole this from a book, but everybody is funnel hacking. So copying the best people, everybody's using the same templates. So just copying the experts, like I just kind of mentioned, and relying, on AI or solely on AI for execution. And it's making everybody the same. So not only is it making, the floor just better, but it's just making everybody the same. And again, if you lack differentiation, and again, I gotta proofread this before I do the next presentation. If you lack differentiation, so if you're not different in your marketing, you will struggle, okay? Because there's no reason why, like there's going to be no reason why for people to buy in general. Like you're just going to be the same as everybody else. Like everybody's going to say like, we're the best this. And you're going to be like, me too. And then there's going to be 30 other brands that are like, me too, me too, me too. And if you're all the same, it's like, you don't have an edge, and the profitability just becomes extremely hard, because then you have to start giving discounts and like trying to get the cheapest people to come and buy your stuff. And it's like, it's not a real business. It's not a brand. Right. And again, for clarity, like LLMs are trained on predictive words, okay? Which means we are automatically guaranteed to sound like everyone else and say what everyone else is saying if we rely on AI. Okay. And again, the goal, the best copywriting and the best ads that we're going to get into in this copywriting program, they have clear differentiation, right? And you'll see a lot of this stuff coming up. Okay. So again, can you find sweet spots that work for a little while? For sure. Okay. Like everybody's going crazy at the time of this filming this, or these native ads or these camouflage ads where it's like, oh, all you have to do is copy this template, bro, and just put it into Claude, bro, and then take this photo of this bald dude and put it into Hicksfield, bro, and like, you're cooking. And it's like, okay, well, if that is your entire skill set, copy and paste, it's going to die fast. Okay. Can you make some money on it interim? For sure. But it's like, do you want to be the guy that's constantly having to catch trends and constantly having to catch, all of these, waves and that's your business model, that's your strategy, that's your skill set? It's like, I would rather have a skill set where it's like, regardless of what's going on, I could still make money. Right. And again, apologies for my horrendous spelling here. But again, if something doesn't really require true skill, if it doesn't require work for you to develop this skill, right? And you're just a Me Too copywriter and there's nothing at all that is different about your brand, it's like you're going to struggle. Okay. And so copywriting, if you ask me, is the number one skill in marketing and still is the number one skill in marketing. So not learning it means that you're not able to communicate to customers effectively. And in an age of over communication, I'd say it's probably pretty important. And I'll likely touch on more on this point around like over communication. But again, you have to understand how much information is being bombarded into the minds of everybody, right? There is so much, like even like there's books being published, there's courses dropping, there's YouTube videos every day, there's social, like, Instagram and Facebook social media, short form stuff, TikTok, like there's just so much over communication happening that if you don't know how to communicate properly, you're kind of setting yourself up for failure. And that's what copywriting is about learning how to communicate and how to position properly. Okay. As always, again, we'll always mention where I got this information from. Harry Dry, phenomenal copywriter. Jason Fladlien, who's the guy that actually does webinars. I've learned a lot of this stuff from him. And Al Rise to Jack Shaw from Positioning. There's a few other books as well that you guys will see me kind of mention, but for these slides specifically, that's where I got the information from. And so I hope that this has influenced you to actually take all of the modules down below a lot more seriously. And again, if you are struggling with execution, you are struggling to make ads that can actually scale, this is probably the biggest reason why.